start of the bear market is an unescapable reality, and it's going to happen whether you like it or not. But in the meantime, there are stories to be told and events to be taken into consideration. Today, I'll look at articles related mainly to Bitcoin and then talk about the possible time frame for the beginning of the upcoming bear market. As certain as the upcoming bear market is the fact that with money, there will be fraud and there will be scammers. And it turns out that Telegram is a swamp pool of scammers and fraudsters. It turned out that the co-founder of Bloom has been detained in Russia on fraud charges. Bloom has been an app that's been in use for some time now, and it was apparently seemingly a decent app and had a lot of following. There was hype around it, there was excitement around it, and of course it turns out that another Russian scammer has been caught. Not the first and not the last. And it looks to me like Russians are beginning to build up a very bad reputation for themselves through the sheer volume of scams that are being pulled through apps like the Bloom or AI Go Trade that I talked about in the past, which are run mainly by Russians on the Telegram app. Vladimir Smirkis, the co-founder of Bloom, a popular Telegram mini app combining a crypto exchange with point-earning games, has been arrested in Russia on charges of large-scale fraud. The arrest occurred on Friday, with local media outlets TASS reporting that Smirkis was detained by authorities from Zamoskvoretsky district court in Moscow. While the official charges have not been disclosed, police indicated that Smirkis is being held in connection with a criminal case involving significant fraudulent activity. Speculation suggests that the charges may be linked to Smirkis' previous ventures such as the Token Fund and Token Box. These projects raised millions but have since faded from the spotlight. Some believe these past undertakings could be under investigation as part of the current case. These people create apps that ask you to make purchases on Telegram or other places. They collect enough funds and then they disappear, just like AI Go Trade has, which is a reason for why I always say don't put any money into these apps. And so the few Telegram apps that I was involved with, most of them out of the ones that I was involved to and that I invested have lost me money. So my suggestion is do not put money into your Telegram apps because most of them are scams. If they promise you airdrops, if they promise you quick returns in exchange for the increase of mineability or whatever else other perks that they may be offering in exchange for the purchase of their services with Ton, do not do it because they're most likely scams. In the wake of the arrest, Bloom quickly distanced itself from Smirkis. On Saturday, Bloom's X account confirmed that Smirkis has stepped down from his role as Chief Marketing Officer, CMO, and is no longer involved in the project or its development in any capacity. But, the presumption is that Bloom should not be held responsible for it. It is the individual that is. But it's really hard to say whether Bloom knew all along about Smirkis, or they simply chose to distance themselves now that Smirkis has been found out. After all, I assume that millions of dollars are changing hands on the Bloom platform, and it would be a mistake to have Bloom support this guy rather than simply distancing themselves from him. Bloom was initially supported by Binance Labs, participating in its most valuable builder accelerator program. The project launched its drop game in May 2024, allowing users to earn Bloom points by tapping snowflakes falling in their screens. The app promised an airdrop that would eventually convert these points into tokens, but delays and the launch of additional airdrop seasons have left users still waiting for the token generation event. And that is exactly my point. They talk about airdrops, they try to lure you in with more funds, and the airdrops never solidify in this case. And so people continue to put money into the project, but there is no money coming back. And so this is a project that has been backed by Binance. There's a lot of money that has been changing hands, and they've got a lot of support. And so they would be more than capable of releasing a token. Now, when we look at smaller apps, like AI Go Trade was, or any other app that is much smaller and has quite possibly a lot less following or venture capital support or financial support, what are the chances of that tiny little project conducting an airdrop and giving out free money to people who are using it when a behemoth like Blum is not doing it, is incapable of doing it or unwilling of doing it. And this is what raises red flags right there. Things have gotten so bad in the more recent past that articles talking about Bitcoin millionaires or crypto millionaires having to hire protection because there have been a number of cases in which executives or crypto millionaires have been kidnapped, or there have been kidnapping attempts of their daughters, like the most recent one that occurred in Paris just a couple of weeks ago. Bodyguard security firms are experiencing increased demand from cryptocurrency executives in response to a disturbing rise in kidnappings. Crypto industry executives are beefing up personal security and demanding more bodyguard services in response to a recent string of kidnappings and ransom attempts worldwide, particularly in France, targeting investors and professionals in the sector. And it's almost like these events cause a downturn in the prices, usually because it's almost becoming to the point where it's dangerous to hold Bitcoin, it's dangerous to hold cryptocurrencies because you run the risk of being kidnapped. And of course, that provides the likes of BlackRock, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, and other banks that have for years been shunning Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but now all of a sudden they've turned tides and are trying to scoop up as much Bitcoin and as many cryptocurrencies as they possibly can at as low prices. And so it's in their best interest to keep these prices low for the time being, until the time is ripe where they can begin to sell it back to the public at inflated prices, or lending it out in the forms of ETFs. According to Bloomberg report, Infinite Risks International, a private security firm based in Amsterdam, Netherlands, is seeing more inquiries into bodyguard services and more long-term clients signing up for private security. Additionally, French law enforcement officers recently announced enhanced security measures for crypto entrepreneurs and investors following at least 3 separate kidnapping incidents so far in 2025. The measures include security briefings and expedited access to police lines in the case of emergencies for the entrepreneurs and their families. French law enforcement authorities also advise crypto investors not to advertise their wealth or wear crypto-branded clothing, lessening their chances of becoming a target. Like, this is pretty bad. It's a flat-out persecution of crypto lovers. The things that are taking place are just it's very bizarre. It's a very bizarre scene right now. It's almost like somebody's staging these heists in order to prep up their business practices on other ends. Because again, this is another example of cryptocurrencies creating an industry of all kinds. There is not just the trading. There are other companies that are benefiting from the existence of cryptocurrencies, or in this particular case, from the existence of kidnappings within the world of cryptocurrencies. Nevertheless, the markets don't sleep and they continue moving on. That crypto trades. Bitcoin has slowly been crawling back up into the green area on the rainbow chart. With lower highs each cycle, I think we could already be very happy if the price were to visit the green-yellow region this time around, especially seeing how mature and large the market has become. Cycles are slower and less extreme than before. This does make it easier to weather the volatility, but it also diminishes the insane gains we might have seen in previous cycles. The expectation is that Bitcoin will continue to move up, as all markets do, but at a slower pace, particularly with the increased market cap. And speaking of market caps, the market cap right now is standing at $3.3 trillion, which is a 200 billion retracement, $102 billion in trading volume, and Bitcoin is right now at $104,000 price tag. So while in the past Bitcoin did pump all the way into the red zones, the danger zones, we may or may not be seeing that happening, or if we do see it happening, we should see Bitcoin hit the $120,000, $130,000 price tag per Bitcoin, quite possibly. And some do believe that Bitcoin could surge to $150,000 in the next 100 days, and here are the reasons why. Analysts are issuing bold forecasts for Bitcoin's price trajectory, with projections pointing towards massive upside in the coming months. Two popular market experts, Timothy Peterson and Mags, offer compelling reasons why Bitcoin could climb to 150,000 or even 200,000 within the next 100 days, which is about 3 months. May, June, July, August, and coincides neatly with the month of August, which was the predicted end of the bull market for this time. Timothy Peterson highlights a strikingly historical analog. Bitcoin's price action, when adjusted for its beta relative to the Nasdaq, shows a strong correlation with major equity recoveries. Based on this model using previous peaks and subsequent Nasdaq rebounds, Peterson suggests Bitcoin is on track for a 50% gain within the next 100 trading days. He adds that while the beta can vary slightly, the setup is textbook for continued upside momentum. And again, I'm going to say that markets tend to move up. In the long run, we have dips, we have retracement, but in the long run, when you look at this trajectory spanning over the duration of the past 2 decades, the market is moving up. Meanwhile, crypto analyst Mag uses Fibonacci extension levels to map potential price peaks. According to his technical analysis, the previous bull cycle topped out at the 3.618 Fib level, a pattern Bitcoin appears to be repeating. And in this cycle, Bitcoin has yet to break that 1.618 extension, and the next major resistance lies at $154,000. And so this is the pattern where right now over here, and Bitcoin is still expected to reach this high. But I'd be very careful of it, because once you start seeing price tags like that, I mean, this happened in the past. People were talking about this and never solidified. Yes, we did see Bitcoin hit the peaks in the past in 2017 and 2021. And so you would expect Bitcoin to hit a similar crescendo right here in this bull run. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? So the goal is to secure profits before it reaches the top, the predicted top, the suggested top, and it's, you know, impossible to hit to predict markets correctly. In the most bearish scenario, according to those forecasts, Bitcoin could peak near 154. But in the most bullish case, a surge toward 200,000 is possible, and according to Peterson's timeline, it could happen within the next 100 days. Another major institution is getting in on the Bitcoin action. Basil, a medical group in Singapore, is a Nasdaq-listed limited company, a healthcare company that declared exclusive negotiations for a $1 billion Bitcoin acquisition plan on aiming for financial diversification. Of course, it says here insert date because the date is yet unknown. So right now, these are simply rumors that may or may not come to fruition. Whale movements accelerate. Over 400 million in Bitcoin transfers spark speculation. On May 18th, a surge in whale activity was spotted as several massive Bitcoin transactions took place, moving over 4,000 Bitcoin valued at more than $480 million within just a few hours, according to a whale alert data. Two of the largest single transfers involved 1,000 Bitcoin each, worth 103 million. Both moved between unknown wallets. These sizable anonymous transactions often point to institutional maneuvering or large over-the-counter deals, though the exact intent remains unclear. In addition, a 700 Bitcoin transfer and a 500 Bitcoin transfer were both directed to Antpool, one of the top Bitcoin mining pools. This may suggest strategic reallocation tied to mining operations or transaction fee efficiencies. Finally, another major move saw 699 Bitcoin valued at a roughly $72 million sent from an unknown wallet to Binance, which some analysts interpret as a sign of possible upcoming sell pressure or liquidity positioning. Bitcoin nears Golden Cross weeks after trapping bears as US debt concerns mount. Bitcoin's impeding Golden Cross follows a recent death cross, which was a bear trap. A similar sequence occurred late in 2024 price surge from 70 to 100,000. A similar pattern unfolded from August through September 2024, setting the stage for a convincing move above 70,000 in early November. Prices eventually set a record high above 109,000 in January this year. And these are the charts. This is what happened in 2024. We had a death cross and then a bullish golden cross. And so now we've had in 2025, there was a death cross. And now we are quite possibly going to see, we're nearing another golden cross right here. And when we're talking about golden crosses, this is where we're talking about the 200 MA and the 100 MA about to cross on the MA ribbon. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Simply Bitcoin released a video just 4 hours ago, a very good summary of why BlackRock may have shifted its stance on Bitcoin, and I highly recommend this video. They're getting a lot of views. It's a very well put together video. It's a very well explained video. and it basically provides support for my stance on Bitcoin, on BlackRock being the bad guys. I mean, nothing's changed for BlackRock. The only thing that they are they're not all of a sudden in favor of Bitcoin. The only reason why they're in favor of Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is saving their bacon. I guess Larry Fink has realized that fiat is not as secure as he presumed it to be, and Bitcoin is actually the one thing that is going to save his company, because according to Simply Bitcoin, BlackRock had been bailed out by the UK government, which is not a good look for any major company. And so owning Bitcoin allows Larry Fink and BlackRock to be independent of governments. So I recommend this video, Simply Bitcoin, check it out, watch it. BlackRock secret Bitcoin plan for your retirement and pension. And finally, here's when Bitcoin's bear market is set to start, and it's going to start as Bitcoin inches closer to a potential new all-time high, possibly $120,000. An analyst is cautioning that the current bull market may be approaching its final stretch. According to Master Ananda, Bitcoin is confronting its final major resistance level before entering full price discovery. This level could cap the current rally, with the market top likely in late 2025 and a downturn following, he said in a TradingView post on May 18th. Master Ananda pinpointed the resistance zone between $120,000 and $130,000 that aligned with projections from fellow analyst Trading Shot, who anticipates Bitcoin hitting 130 by June 2025, as reported by Finbold. However, a significant mid-cycle correction in this range could suppress Bitcoin's upside potential for the cryptocurrency to reach its full bullish target, potentially between 180 and 220,000. The trading experts suggest that any meaningful pullback should ideally occur later, around the $150,000 to $160,000 range. Based on this outlook, Bitcoin's bull run could extend through November 2025. And again, this is, a necessary note of caution. It needs to be issued right around here, because the time frame that we were projecting was August. That was being projected is August. And of course, we look at all the charts, we look at the rainbow charts, and presume that Bitcoin still needs to reach the levels here, and it's got a long way to go. And in order to reach these levels here, the orange lines, we would need to see a Bitcoin of like close to $200,000. So we see all of these signs, we see all the charts and all the talk of 200 and above dollar levels for Bitcoin. And of course, it's hard to greed kicks in, and it's hard for people to keep their head calm and keep their heads on their necks, screwed on properly. But unless you are willing to sit through yet another bear market with your thumbs tucked neatly under your armpits, I would suggest to be very cautious of these announcements and take heed of the $120,000, $130,000 marks. I mean, yes, Bitcoin could pump all the way to 220, but what if it doesn't? What if it stalls at 150, 140, or even 110? Maybe not 110, but 120, let's say, and then reverses and never sees the light of that price tag again until 2029. According to the bullish outlook, the Scalping Pro is saying that the target is above $200,000. In the previous bull market, Bitcoin peaked at the 3.3618 Fibonacci extension, and now Bitcoin remains below the 1.618 level, with the next major resistance at the 2.618 extension near $154,000. So all these predictions, again, will continue to persuade you that Bitcoin will go to above 200,000. Once again, I recommend watching this video by Simply Bitcoin. He provides a very good summary of why BlackRock has shifted its stance, why Larry Fink has shifted his perception of Bitcoin. So check that out, have a look, hit those likes on this video, and make sure to hit the likes on this video as well on the Crypto Father channel. Subscribe and come back for more. I release videos on a daily basis, with the exception of the weekend, because that's when I take my time off. Have a fantastic Monday. Welcome back to another week. I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday morning. Crypto Father out.